okay? So, some of you are saying, Jamie, I just want an extra $5,000 a month and then I'll worry about anything else beyond that later, okay? Wherever you're at, okay? So, here's what I want you to do. Everyone stand up quickly. I'm just going to give you a moment, opportunity in just a moment to introduce yourself to 3 or 4 other people around you. Just say what your name is, where you're from, why did you come today? If you're a member, maybe let someone else know you're a member, etc. Go for it quickly, 3 or 4 other people. First of all, I also want to acknowledge today there'll be people watching in from the comfort of their homes and around Australia, New Zealand, around the world. So I want to acknowledge those people who'll be watching this at home. And also, what gives me the right to speak on the subject, such as financial success and success in general. For those who don't know my background, I'll be right up front with you very clearly. My role today is not to give you financial advice. I haven't done a degree in PhD in financial planning, but what I can say this is I do have a PhD in results. In other words, I'm not someone that here is like a university lecturer that's talking about theory. I'm someone that started well below zero. A lot of people say to me, what if I've got no money? Will these strategies still work? I say 15 years ago when I was starting my journey, I wish I was starting at zero. Okay, I was starting well below zero. Some of you may relate to that. I had at 21 started the telecommunications business in Sydney, made some money, then lost it, and found myself almost bankrupt. I'd personally guaranteed the business debt and at $150,000 under, with no assets backing out. That was all bad debt, effectively, business debt. And I found myself in a situation that I was very angry, upset, and thought my life was over. Okay, and that was a turning point for me, and I was fortunate enough to find a millionaire mentor that helped me turn all that around. So over the years, and it took me less than 5 years to become a self-made millionaire while still in my 20s. I don't say that to impress you, but impress upon you that these strategies have certainly worked in my life personally. I can vouch for that. And as a result, I've been able to, in the last 9, nearly 10 years now, started a career as an educator, educating other people. These strategies and other strategies I've learnt as the years have gone on. And as a result, now there's over 250,000 people worldwide that have been educated through 21st century in the strategies that created as a result of certainly what I learnt in the beginning. So I guess that gives me a greater insight and a greater ability than just someone that's produced results themselves, because I've also developed a skill to be able to articulate things in a way that people can understand. I know many people that are multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires that have been very successful at what they do, but if you had to get them to try and explain or articulate how they did it, they wouldn't be able to do it, because a lot of it's subconscious. They don't even consciously know how they do what they do. And as a result, that knowledge is not imparted and other people can't replicate that. Anything I share here today is replicatable, is being done, and there's people already in this room that are testimony to that, and tens of thousands of people that have been out there as living proof of these strategies. So that's good news if it's all new to you, what is actually possible. And I've been fortunate enough, I created wealth initially through real estate, building a property portfolio, and then I get into the share market with instant cash flow strategies, which I'll share with you today, and also, building businesses, and built many multi-million-dollar businesses as well. So I'm not saying that to impress you, but impress upon you. I'm not talking here from theory, but talking from someone who's had to go out, start with nothing, and walk myself through and make this happen. So therefore, do I accept excuses from other people that think they can't do it? Yes or no? Absolutely not. Because I know it can be done. I've seen in other stories of people that when I first started teaching these things, I never knew how successful other people could become with them. And I've seen other people come incredibly far more successful than me. I know one young guy, he was 19, sat in the front row of one of my seminars with his girlfriend. This is probably about 7 years ago. He's worth about $27 million today. He was 19 when he sat there hoping this stuff would work. I know many other countless people that were, especially young people in particular, that were broke, no money, that are multi-millionaires today in a space of 5, 6, 7 years. What about the older people? Well, no success story whatsoever with anyone over 35. It's just for us young people. Youth is power. Forget it now. No, I'm just kidding. Baby boomers, predominantly when I started teaching this 8, 9, 10 years ago, the majority of people that would show up at my seminars were baby boomers. In other words, I thought it was ironic. I was teaching my parents' age group, basically. And they were very effective. Baby boomers have been very successful, these strategies, particularly because in Australia, we have a situation, also New Zealand, and many Western countries for that matter, where many people become asset rich and cash flow poor. So you're in a situation, baby boomers are probably in the best situation because no doubt you have some equity in a home. You may have already, I know there's some people in here already, sophisticated property investors. I've had people I've taught that are worth tens of millions of dollars to people starting with nothing. So it doesn't really matter where you're at because just one little distinction can take you to the next level, okay? So it doesn't really matter where you're at. So baby boomers are probably in the best situation in some aspects. But then again, Generation Xers, my age group, have certainly been taking advantage of these strategies as well because we don't want to necessarily take as long as our parents' generation has. Is that true? We're impatient. We want to see the world. And then we have Generation Y. Is that true? Generation Y are now getting into these things as well, where Generation Y are the most impatient group on the history of the planet. Would you agree with me on that? They expect everything downloaded instantly. They want instant results. They expect to go to Europe and travel the world when they're 18, when their parents have had to wait to 55 to afford to do that. So they get the different perspective of the world, but they certainly have a very healthy attitude that they don't have fear. And that gives them a great advantage. I've also seen teenagers. We give teenage scholarships throughout our programs. They're able to attend at no charge with their parents. And I've seen some teenagers do remarkable things, particularly not just with investing, but also with the internet type strategies that we teach as well. Because who's going to be more successful? Those sort of things, the young generation just really takes it on very quickly. So really I'm saying it doesn't matter what age group you are, it doesn't matter where you're at now, I'm more interested in where you want to go. And are you committed to making it happen and doing certain things? So what we're going to look at, if we do what most people do, you might be aware of these statistics, but the average Australian, despite living in a rich country, about 95% of the population at age 65, which is, age 65 is what? Well, it was retirement age, okay? I think in the last few weeks, the retirement age has now been unofficially extended. Is that true? There's a lot of 60-year-olds and 65 going, I'm going to have to go back to work. They've looked at their super account, which is disappearing by the week. And so retirement age is probably not going to be 65. But statistically, about 95% of the population at that age, despite being a rich country, are in a position at retirement where they will need either some government assistance through a pension that may not exist in the future, as we know, or in a situation where they'll need a family, etc., to look after them, which is not really healthy considering the wealth that abounds in this country. Then only about 4% are what we call financially independent, and that is effectively having enough money coming off your investments that equals your current income. Okay, not necessarily rich, but able to fend for yourself in retirement. And a lot of people that were in this category now aren't because the biggest asset they've had outside their home has been what? Super. And because they perhaps haven't been self-managing that and it's been at the mercy of managed funds, etc., then they've suffered losses because they haven't been an active investor. And only about 1% of the population are classified or in Australia become rich. There's about 200,000 millionaires in Australia. Now, what they classify as rich is if you have a net worth in excess of $1 million outside your home, so you can't count your home, and you can't count luxuries. Okay, the Tiffany's, the Chanel, etc. You can't count that.